I was going to tell you what our vacations were like when we lived in Dragerton. And, and the vacation time always had to do with the 4th of July. They shut the mines down for about 10 days to 2 weeks. And we would go fishing. We'd go down and we'd usually end up down at Fish Lake or the Fremont River. Fremont River run out of Fish Lake down into the Fremont Valley. And so we'd go down there and we would fish. And we always caught trout. And so we had trout for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think for breakfast, they took some eggs and some bacon long, but we basically had trout. And we would travel down there. And I can remember riding in a pickup truck in the cab and with two big guys on both sides of me, and I was smashed in the middle. And we would ride down to Fremont. We'd usually go down through southern Utah. We'd just go down to Emery County and go down that way. And a lot of it was just dirt road. And we'd go past these places. And one of the favorite places that the family went was on the Fremont River. And there was a grassy spot there that we loved to camp out. And we would camp there and go fishing. And basically that was our summer activity. Sylvia, did you go down on any of those?
Yes, and I remember one time mom couldn't put a worm on a hook, but she took some worms and I didn't have a license, so I wasn't fishing. But anyway, she always had a can of tobacco can, those little thin tobacco cans with her worms in, because she could shut the top of it and cut the worm in half if it was too long. But she'd find a rock and put the worm on the rock, and with her pliers she'd get a hold of the hook and chase the worm till she got it on the hook. Well, this one time she was chasing the worm around on this rock, and these two fishermen come along and they give her all the fish that they had so that she didn't have to put the worm on the hook.
When we would go fishing with Mom, she would take a Kleenex and hold the worm in the Kleenex and then get it onto her hook that way too.
Yeah.
I never went fishing with Mom.
She enjoyed fishing, but she just didn't like putting the worms on the hook.
Yeah.
But here a few years ago, we went down to the Fish Lake and we spent, probably almost a week there. And Diane and I were fishing up by the lodge on Fish Lake, and we kept catching fish, and they were good sized fish. And there was a limit of what, 4? I think that 4 apiece. And we'd both caught a couple of fish. And so between the two of us, we had 4. And I says, we can't fish anymore because we're going to be over our limits. And so we took those fish and cleaned them and put them in ice. And then we went down the Fremont River, and I found the spot that we had gone when I was younger. And we went there and I threw my line in and picked up a real nice German brown. That was a type of a trout. And I brought him out, cleaned him, and started a fire and got a willow and put him on the willow. And we cooked him and ate him right there. Ate him on the spot.
I think that's the best fish is out of the river and into the pan.
Did you cook him like a hot dog on
Yeah.
a willow stick? Oh, I've
That's
never
right.
seen it done that way.
Yeah, but they're really, really tasty when
Yeah, I like trout sticks like that, real fresh.
fresh like that.
But I've never seen one roasted on a stick, ever.
Well,
Yeah.
you just didn't have the relatives I had.
Hardly anybody has the relatives we have.
Oh,
So who was in the truck with you? Who were the big guys on either side? Did you remember?
my dad was,
Your dad was one.
yeah, I don't know who was driving though. It was,
Would it be your Uncle Royal?
no.
No.
It was some other relative. I had quite a few.
And they was all pretty good size.
Yep.
Uh,
But by the time you got down to Fish Lake, he was ready to get out and go fishing. He was ready to get out.
I'm surprised that that lake has any fish left in it. It seems like everybody that I know from Utah has fished in Fish Lake.
Oh, Fish Lake's a wonderful place to fish.
Well, they must keep stocking it all the time. They have to keep up with all that.
We took Dad Burke. We took him to Fish Lake when he was well enougso to go, and he loved it. He wanted to go out on a boat and catch a fish.
Well,
So we hired a man to take us out on the lake in a boat, and he took all kinds. He had the poles and everything that the fellow did for us to do the fishing, and Dad had a good time.
well, we had a real good time too. One time Jack took us down there. You remember that?
I'm trying to remember it.
It
seems like-
stormed. It started snowing and
Oh,
we
it
were
was
home.
snowing. I did remember that I do remember
Yeah.
now. You were with us.
Yeah, yes, and we tried and kept hoping and it never panned out. So we
We
just went
finally
home.
gave up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
finally said,
I
I'm
decided
gonna go home.
I wasn't going to go fishing in the snowstorm.
Yeah.
But Fish Lake's a beautiful place to go. And other than that, occasionally we'd go to California. And one of the things I remember about going to California was we was driving back and Verna was with us. And I was old enough to have a driver's license. And so in the middle of the night, they turned the driving over to me, someplace out in the middle of Nevada. And I drove until I got so sleepy I couldn't drive. And so I just pulled over and slept for a little bit. And Verna woke up and she was mad at me because I'd gone to sleep. She wanted to get home.
Well, do what you have to do to stay safe.
Yeah. But Fish Lake's probably my favorite place to fish, there in the Fremont River. And they always seem to have plenty of fish.
There was always a nice place to camp on the river there.
Yep. And not only just our family, but I know Grandma and Grandpa Tanner would go down there occasionally, and they'd always get that same spot and we'd camp right there.
So you went with them also?
Pardon?
You went there the same time they were there?
Oh, yeah. that was
That's a
one
fun
of the,
story. Thanks for sharing that, Dan.
okay. Well, that's my exciting story.
Sounds a little fishy to me.
It is.
Okay.
You know, you see some of these movies and they talk about eating fish 3 meals a day. That's what we did.
There probably weren't as many convenience stores back then.
No,
Even when I went there, I don't think there were any convenience stores. I think it was, I don't know what the nearest city was, but I remember going up there. It was pretty remote.
yeah, it is.
Heather and I rented a cabin for a few days up there and enjoyed some time at Fish Lake.
Yeah, we're there by the lodge where the stream comes in. Boy, we would go out there and we were catching some real good sized trout. And we had to quit. We were getting too good at it.